I was almost late. I was panicking to get live in time. I accidentally went live without having my fisherman up. So you might have caught a second of me just sitting there waiting for my fisherman to initiate. Did not yet get the highlighted chat in either. Here's the highlighted chat. We are good to go. So, as I said 2 weeks ago, where did we leave off 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Snipe Probstein was like the latest and greatest drama hitting our hobby, and at the time he was already back on eBay selling, consigning 95% payouts. Shout out to DC Sports 87. They will get you 96% payouts above $1,000, which is where I'm currently sending all my current and future consignments. At least for now, until new services show themselves. But I don't use Twitter, X. There was a Twitter thread on this whole GameStop, not GameStop, this whole PSA thing. The latest PSA thing, a 9 grade changed to a 10. And it's funny because there's been these rumblings of like tinfoil hat conspiracies. And mind you, like, I need to be cautious in what I say for multiple reasons. I need to tiptoe along my fence line for this one. Because it's like, if I go too far one way, I'm going to get sued by somebody. These are all my opinions. This is all alleged. I don't know anything firsthand about what's happened here. But there's been these conspiracies that, like, oh, PSA, they buy cards, and people buy cards through their platform, through the PSA offer function. Well, what if they just gave you a low grade, bought the card from you, and then re-slabbed the card with a higher grade? Like, what if they did that? People months ago asking that when this stuff came about. And it's like, the thing that I always went to, the thing that they make so much money. Like, how could they ever do that? There's no way they'd be that stupid. I said that about Rick Probstein with Snipe. If you caught me in time, if you caught me a year before the Blake's Break scandal hit the internet, I would have said Blake Martinez, former NFL linebacker, whatever he was, multimillionaire, likely. There's very little likelihood that he would be scamming, energy scamming, based on already knowing what energy was coming in the pack and giving his the chases to his buddies or whatever it was, or just controlling when the chases came. I'm not going to say that anymore. Can I and will I definitively say that PSA is not scamming you by buying your cards at a lower grade, re-slabbing them with a higher grade? Can I definitively say they're not doing that? No, I cannot definitively say that. Do I actually think, though? Do I actually think they're buying your cards as a 9, regrading them intentionally, this big giga brain conspiracy to like make more money? They're taking a fractional penny piece of cardboard and putting it in a couple pennies don't exist anymore, but a couple pennies they probably pay per PSA case. Add a couple pennies for the label, add a couple pennies for the labor, and it's like they're charging $20 for that at a baseline. $20, $50, $100, $1,000, $3,000, depending on the tier. The whole thing is insane. If you had to ask me, Dan, and maybe someone will ask me tonight, Dan, do you think PSA is actually scamming people through that method? I will say I don't think so, but I truly don't know, because I didn't think Probstein was shilling. And then, lo and behold, he creates Snipe, and he spills all the receipts. He literally, like, there was a dark alley in Snipe, and he just, like, he put a neon sign pointing at the dark alley where all the shady dealings went on. Honey Bunny and all these different usernames that I don't remember. Doesn't that feel like it was like a year ago? That was 2 weeks ago. That was 2 weeks ago. And everyone's already forgotten. So it's like, it's insane. No shop PSA is doing that. The tracking to manage that well would be very challenging. I mean, I said there's no shot Rick Probstein is shilling his Pokemon auctions on eBay or on Snipe or what, and then he was shilling, like, he allegedly, whatever, he had a lot of accounts bidding on things in a coordinated way to raise up the prices to get to, and one thing that I'm actively doing in maybe one video, I don't really want to do the whole Snipe thing. I know I'm doing like a drama thing right now because it's what the latest news is in the Pokemon space. But I I'm consigning through DC Sports now. I'm voting with my wallet, as so few people will do. And if I make less money consigning through DC Sports compared to Probstein, I'll probably stick it out. As long as I can make a margin and it's all hands off and I can make money, like, that's perfectly fine. But will I do it at a loss? Will I do it if it's costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars a year? I didn't profit that. Like, I sold that much net, gross, sorry, through Probstein this year. Well, like, I wasn't netting six figures. If I can sell sealed product maybe on Fanatics again someday, maybe elsewhere at a high rate, I'll just do that. But I'm gonna make a video someday, maybe just like, hey, I sold an OP13 case through DC Sports. Were there any that ended that week on Probstein? How'd they go comparatively? Was there an Evolving Skies case when I sold mine? Was there an SV1, SV4, SV, whatever I'm sending? Whatever I'm sending and selling on DC Sports, just doing some kind of a bid comparison on prices realized. DC Sports versus Probstein. It's a volatile market. It's a non-fungible market too. Like one case of OP13 isn't the same as another case of OP13 because it might have corner dings. The tape might be a little bit ugly around the seams or whatever, and so it's never going to be one-to-one. But like looking into some study of is he actually doing this on eBay? And again, hopefully someday there's an FBI investigation. Hopefully something happens with the whole data breach. We have 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left until the 30-day timeline lapses. And in New York, legally, I'm supposed to be told within 30 days if my data's been leaked. I know it's been leaked because I talked to some Russian Blyazard guy that told me my credit card company and told me my showed me anonymized. There were asterisks in it, but showed me my PO box address, showed me my email address, and you could tell it was the right one because it was like K ***CHUMAL ****. It was catchemallcollectibles@gmail.com. So again, this whole PSA thing, I generally agree. I generally agree that I don't think anything was going on actually, but like I said that before and I was wrong, and I don't know. Could there not be somebody at PSA who is very savvy at IT, and could there be people within PSA that think that everything's all good to go, and that I should have brought a thing of aluminum foil with me. And as crazy as it is to say, I actually was asked recently on PokeFlips. Shout out to what's his new username? I don't know if Timmy's here, but something Timmy. He used to just go by Timmy, but now he has something Timmy, and I forget what it is. But anyways, he asked me on PokeFlips last week, because I am live every week. I'm live here every other week. I'm live in PokeFlips every other week, which makes me live every week somewhere. But he asked me, like, Dan, do you know of any insider info that's like a smoking gun on some big conspiracy that would like fundamentally change the hobby? And I genuinely don't. And I hope I never do. I a month ago was ignorant to some of the happenings around Probstein, right? A month ago, I had my head in the sand. Ignorance is bliss. I was living a blissful existence, selling multi six figures through Probstein, probably propped up. I was probably netting more money because he was bidding on the items and bidding up his competitors, bidding up whoever was actually winning the items from him on eBay, right? So it's like I was unwittingly, unknowingly benefiting from some shady activities. And like, there's probably more. There's probably more that goes on. Can I definitively say? I can't definitively say anything about any of the grading card companies because I just don't know anything about it. But like years ago, the whole black label, like certain people getting way higher black label rates, and there's probably all kinds of stuff that would shake a lot of people's beliefs about like the foundations of the hobby, the pillars of the hobby space. If you saw how the sausage was made, if you saw how the sausage was made, and if I saw how the sausage was made, it probably would make a lot of us sick, to be honest. There are probably, and it's probably the exception. There are, I don't know how many graders there are at PSA, at CGC, at BGS. I shouldn't tie it to a company. Forget I said anything. Mathematically, statistically speaking, at all of these, I'll just say professional graders. We don't know if I'm talking about, I'm not even going to say I can't even think of the word for acronym. I'm not even going to say an acronym so I don't get sued by anybody. But like statistically speaking, and we're going to include all the grading card companies, even not the big three, the big ones, amongst all the grading card companies everywhere. And years ago, there's some now defunct grading card companies that would just throw a 10 on anything. Do I, Dan Ketchum All Collectibles, do you think that there's not a little bit of like pay to play, a little bit of like, hey, make this card that, hey, if you're on the fence about a grade, if you're being like Dan about a grade on a card, if it's 9-10, scooch it over onto that 10. Do I actually think that none of that goes on? I pretty much know that that goes on somewhere. But one thing that's great is like I don't have proof, and I'm clearly not involved in any of that stuff. But like I'm pretty confident it goes on. Please, if you know of it, if you have evidence, please do not share it with me. I want to keep my head in the sand. I want to be ignorant about it. Is there something? And a great question that some people have asked me in my various live streams, in my office hours, in my Patreon, all that stuff. Some people have asked me, like, Dan, where is the line? What is the line? And I talked about, like, I had a short go out recently of, like, the cost of a boycott. There are certain companies that I am heavily ingrained in. And, I mean, I might as well just say it, like, Fanatics and eBay. Fanatics and eBay are, like, the two companies that I'm the most ingrained with. I love to think that nothing mischievous is going on at any of the companies that I interact with. But, like, relatively recently, I found out that Probstein had shady stuff going on over on Snipe. So, like, I'm not following him back to eBay. I'm choosing to vote with my wallet, vote with my dollars, and I'm not following him back onto eBay. There's going to be some amount of, like, financial burden that I'm going to bear from that, likely, because I don't have someone ensuring my bids go higher, like I apparently used to, without knowing. But, yeah, it's crazy, and it doesn't feel good, but it is what it is. And, like, ultimately, I'm talking about it today. I'm talking about it right now. In 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, no one cares. No one's gonna care. Like, I think something could happen. And I don't want to get political, but there have been statements made by politicians. They could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, and like they would still get, and that's true. Like that is true about people. Like in our world, there are people in our world that could do heinous things that maybe like, yeah, I don't want to get too far down the politics side, but there are companies in our space who have done terrible things as far as like terribly incompetent, terribly just making horrible errors, consistently inconsistent, all this crazy stuff. And it's like, I don't know what the line would be. I joked in Discord the other day. I joked in Discord the other day, like, if PSA just, crap, I said an acronym. Neuralizer. Just like we use the neuralizer on ourselves over Probstein and Snipe, and that's all forgotten. Forget that I said any acronym. Let me make sure that there's enough space between that and that it can't be clipped into a TikTok short or a reel or a whatever. But, if XYZ grading company, provably, like, if I showed you definitive evidence that I got scammed by XYZ grading card company for like $250,000, like if they just blatantly stole my cards and were like, haha, Dan, screw you, we're keeping this, and get wrecked, sit down and get wrecked. If that happened, and I made a video, and it went on the whole rounds of all the drama places, and this, look, if people had some suspicion that like that was a one-off and oh they didn't like Dan was kind of mean, Dan kind of said dumb stuff about them, so like I'm a good boy, I'm a good girl, they're not going to do that to me. Daddy XYZ grading card company CEO is not going to do that to me. People would, and honestly, if it means like feeding your family, and if it means like you should still submit to them to some extent, right? And I had this conversation in Discord office hours last week for the Patreon, and it's like, what would they have to do to stop getting your dollars? And some people, usually it's like some people out there are saying, oh, I'm never gonna grade with PSA again. Well, how many cards have you graded with them? 7? I've graded 7 cards with PSA over the last 3 months that I've been in the hobby, and I'm never gonna grade with them again. The average person that is completely getting done with like PSA or Probstein or whoever it may be is a very minor part of their bottom line, surely. But I don't know. It's literally just another week in the hobby. It's just another scandal that goes on. And truly, hopefully I don't get sued. But like I genuinely, I think it was just incompetence. I think there's some tweets out there from Nat Turner that basically said like, hey, we have third-party vendors that have the ability to offer on our cards. It wasn't us buying the slabs, it was a vendor, and there was some issue. I don't believe that it was one-off. Saying that it's one-off with any amount of confidence, it's like, okay, what are the odds that and then the whole can of worms that it opens about like there's this big joke within the RuneScape community that customer support is solely done through Reddit. Like if you submit a customer support ticket through Jagex, through like the space that you're supposed to within RuneScape, good luck. Nothing's gonna happen. But if you post on Reddit into the 2007 Scape community on Reddit and you get enough upvotes, that's where customer service actually happens. So like to see that some amount of customer service happens on Twitter for PSA. I will share a little bit. Let me make sure that camera is on. Okay, I'm not showing any kind of a crazy mess here. Let me get my highlighted message in the right spot. Let me get my... I'm clearly not prepared. So here is... Where'd my highlighted message go? It got buried. Here is like the E4 thread. E4 is where there's a thread going on about it. I think it was born on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter, X, whatever. So this person submitted a bunch of Pikachu Zekroms, and they thought, and how many times has this person graded? I don't know. The amount of times that you hear somebody say like, oh, they were all 10s and I got all 9s and I got scammed. What, like, that's such a common story because people see their own cards through like rose-colored lenses. Has this individual graded 10,000 plus cards? Do they actually have a good eye? Is this like their second submission ever? I don't know, and I think that does matter a little bit to the story. But anyways, continuing on. The individual thought they were going to get like X percent of 10s, and they got like all 9s or almost all 9s. And then they took an offer on 3 of the 9s, and then later on they were cards for a buddy or whatever. Later on, they looked up the same cert number, and the card was a 10. Like, how could that be identified so quickly as being a pure one-off thing? Like, I highly doubt that that was actually one-off. Do I believe that it was an unintentional bug, that it was like an accidental thing, that it was just Hanlon's razor? Do not attribute to malice that which adequately can be explained by stupidity. Do I think it was PSA being dumb? Yes. Do I think it was a glitch, a bug, or whatever? Yes. Do I think the coordinated bidding over on Snipe, do I think those were test bids, as I was told by Rick Probstein on the phone? No. But I actually believe this story here. But anyways, it's like, it's crazy. And then the guy comes out and said it's a confirmed one-off situation. Like, I don't know. The whole thing was just crazy. But one underlying like can of worms, as I was saying, that was opened is supposedly the person posted to X because their grades were bad, and then somebody, because of the post on X, and then it's one thing, like, this is 10 to 9. This is 10 to 9. But, like, there's literally a line that, like, theoretically, a lot of cards just exist on that line, and some tip over into the 10, some tip over into the 9. There's a lot of cards that are very right on that boundary. So for them to actually, like, oh, hey, look at this social media post, it's getting a lot of attention. Let's go back and look at our supposedly double graded, quality controlled ×2 work. And oh, we did screw up. Thank you, like, the fact that a Twitter thread getting visibility would cause them to actually go in and look and then change the outcome. Like, that was just crazy. Before the whole 9-10 debacle. Like debacle 2 happened because debacle 1 happened. Like, allowing X to be your customer service, like, there is a customer request center. And that's where, if and when there's an issue, and maybe the whole thing's just crazy. The whole thing's crazy. I'm gonna scroll up and I'm gonna see if there's any, like, oh, Timmy McGee. We got Timmy McGee in here. Nice to have you, Timmy McGee, as always. But it's going to be a spicy one tonight. Have the red lights on the ready. I see big red arrows. I click. Simple as that. Dan's been sending to CGC. How much did he know? I do grade. So as of today, let's do this. Like, this is not a drama channel. I know I got Brad in here saying, oh, here we go, Dan on the drama again. I knew I was going to be asked about it. So it's like, let me just make my opening 20-minute rant about it, and then we'll talk about it. But let's scroll up and see. Oh yeah. So, like, Dan, all this stuff happens. You say that you're not a drama channel. Drama channel is just talk about all the drama. And they talk about drama that doesn't even affect them. PSA affects me. I grade with PSA all the time. I grade with them regularly. I would say that I probably grade on behalf of my consigners. I grade a little bit, very minimally. I just had grades pop today for a consigner. They got a 10, so they didn't get a 9. I didn't have to worry about them, like, buying it back from me and then turning it into a 10, whatever. But I probably grade personally several hundred cards a month with CGC, less than 100 cards a month with PSA, and then similar with BGS. I don't have great numbers, because honestly, 2 months ago I probably graded over 1,000 cards personally with CGC. And then the last month or two, I've just not gotten as many out. Maybe a couple hundred here or there. But I'm grading hundreds a month with CGC, less than 100 a month each with PSA and BGS. Well, Dan, what are you going to do with this new information? I'm going to submit. I'm not, like, I think it was incompetence, not malice. I don't think it was anything shady going on. But for their image, for their brand, the fact that they could even leave the questions out there is just insane. Like, there are certain things that you can't stop. Like, I sell packs, sealed packs we open on stream as a rip and ship. I know that I'm not doing anything with the packs. I know as strong as I could know that, like, PK Ponga not doing anything with the packs. That none of my guys are doing anything with the packs. But, like, I have an issue where I can't do anything outwardly to present information that, like, definitively proves that we're not. There's nothing I can do. There's no single thing that I can do. But one thing that I can do to ensure that, like, that question doesn't come up, it's always going to come up to some extent. There's always going to be some clown somewhere saying something. But it's like that guy that had the energy thing and he opened it up on stream talking about drama, and oh, that was for a friend. Like if I had joke resealed packs kind of like around my inventory, within my inventory, and I like opened them on stream, well, that would be doing something very dumb to insert more suspicion where no more suspicion is needed, right? So PSA, through their incompetence, just inserted this suspicion, inserted this to some people. This is full confirmation of their tinfoil hat conspiracies. Like it is such a fumble that PSA did that. Do I think it will actually matter in the grand scheme of things? No, it's the peanut gallery. All the people actually boycotting them never graded or barely graded with PSA anyways. And supposedly, like, Probstein, I listened to a lot of content in the past couple of weeks about the whole snipe thing, and a lot of people said like, oh, there's all this proof out there, like how do these Pokemon people not know? And I think some of them were talking about me, just not by name. Some of them talked about like this Pokemon guy with $50,000 in cards and this and that, and we sports people have always known. Well, it's like Bill Mastro went to jail, so in my mind it's like Rick Probstein didn't end up in jail, so it's like if everyone knew but nothing happened, probably nothing actually like smoking gun thing type happened. So that's why I chose a couple years ago to like start consigning with Probstein. It's like, yeah, there's talk out there about it, but like I don't know that anything's been confirmed. And then the whole snipe thing, it's like, okay, the switching costs are easy enough, low enough, and I really don't like that we had a phone call and he just blew smoke. He just blew smoke. He said he made things up and just put on the PR thing. And I'm definitely a guy who not a big fan of being lied, not to my face, but through the phone. That didn't sit right with me, and it's easy enough though. But like if it feels, again, it feels gross to say this, but like if Probstein was making me $1 million a year, would I still be sending to him? The benefit that would bring to my business, to my family, like it feels gross, but like yes, probably like $1 million. Like it's sad, it's crazy, but like again, I'm not sending the Probstein anymore because it doesn't cost me that much. And then PSA, I'm gonna continue sending to them because like this feels like for me par for the course. Like they just all these grading card companies just do all this stupid crap when there's just so many free tendies for them around, and they just slip up like unforced errors. They have they have just the easiest way to finish the set. We're talking tennis now, apparently. They have the easiest way to finish the set. The other guy's racket broke. The guy fell. He's off the court. Like literally just like hit the ball into the opposing player's side of the court, get it inbounds, and like win the game, win the match, win the set, win the match. And they're like trying to like do some trick shot, alley-oop, upside down backflip, and like spike it, and then they like whiff on it. Like, what are we doing? Just like don't make unforced errors like that. That was a massive unforced error that just opens up like so much brand risk and stuff, but not enough to actually materially affect them. One thing too that I'm actually really eager to see, with PSA, it will be harder. A lot of PSA is governed more by the market. But one thing that we will be able to see, and I'm actually going to pull it up too, it might be on their Instagram, but where'd it go? Gemrate has a sales history thing that they do. Let me see if it's on their Instagram. Instagram Gemrate. But they break down by consigner on eBay. They break down the total sales, and we will actually fairly definitively be able to see like if Probstein hurt themselves. Man, they post. It looks like they post or no, they don't post a whole lot. I just can't find it. Why can't I find it? Somewhere, Gemrate has posted Probstein sales, DC Sports sales, and Z&G Emporium was on there, and so many other consigners. I'm really intrigued to see in the coming months, in the coming year, like what that looks like, what that ends up panning out to be. Like I think we will definitively be able to say if the whole market goes down, we'll see Z&G go down, we'll see DC Sports go down. If everyone's up or flat or slightly down and Probstein's way down, like we will know that like some damage happened there. Was it just because of the time off eBay? That we need to account for that, right? Like obviously he didn't sell when he wasn't on there, so we need a few months for it to like even out. But PSA, I guess similarly, and I don't think this will be a thing, but CGC, PSA, BGS, Gemrate also does like their monthly grading, their annual grading. We would probably be able to see like if CGC took half of their business, that would be clear. I don't remotely think, I don't think they're set up to do that. They actually just raised prices recently, which I saw somebody crying about on Instagram. PSA gave this big opportunity, you're going to get all this market share, and then you raise your prices. Like, I genuinely don't think a lot of market share is up in the air right now because of this PSA thing. But anyways, let me quick scroll through all the comments, and then we will talk about whatever. Ideally, we'll talk about stuff that makes us not have to shower after the stream. I did miss the playoffs in our Pokemon Fantasy Football League. It is unfortunate, but I am just I'm a bad fantasy player. Dan, will you ever have guests for these bi-weekly lives? I'm just bad about setting that up. I have had people on my channel before, but the way that I see it personally is like Pokeflips is the place to have guests, and this one I just do my own ranting and rambling, and I don't think I'm a good interviewer. The format we have it on Pokeflips is like it's Nick and I, and then the chat, we take their questions mostly. But I wish I was a good interviewer. I miss the Pokemon Wonder content. I think he was a great interviewer. I miss when Retro used to have guests on. I think he's a great interviewer. He actually, they might still be live right now. I saw Retro and an Old Card Shop were live tonight, a little bit earlier before I was. But anyways, I don't think it's optimal for this channel, so I can't say never, but it might happen again. I'm so sick of the Timmies. I'm never using PSA again. Yes, you will. I'm never buying selling with Probstein again. Yes, you will. The buying side is easy. I don't buy on eBay. I'm able to spend way more money than I have on just buying through YouTube and buying through Instagram and all this different stuff. So like I never really was a buyer. Like I've definitely bought a couple things, but very, very minimal. In a perfect world, like I don't buy from eBay again. I don't buy from TCG Player again. I actually haven't bought from TCG Player in over like 8 or 10 months or something. Whenever the dummies over there, unforced error, getting rid of a bunch of people's sales tax exemption. What do they had going on there? I don't know. Are we crashing and burning now? I don't think so. Your hair growth has been a 10 recently. People pretending to boycott PSA like they won't be back in a few weeks. Again, like I said, most people boycotting were never hardly using PSA to begin with. So I might have lost 1K card in shipping USPS because it didn't get scanned at the post office. What do? Put in a lost package claim with them. I think every package is insured to like 50 or $100. It's not much, but it's something. Good luck. Hopefully it shows up somewhere. But yeah, that is not fun. Every company has major skeletons in their closets, and we still pay out the money when it benefits us in the slightest. Absolutely, everyone has a price for sure. Let's see. I'm trying to look at both chats, live and not live, but it's impossible to look at both. The fact is, grading itself is only for evaluation purposes. All grading companies, with no exceptions, are questionable. I choose PSA because of the value. I think it's scary. I think it's scary how much certain companies are engaging in the secondary market. Like it's one thing, they're supposed to be the third party, so not really objective. There's nothing objective about third party grading. The biggest key that third party graders are supposed to be in a perfect world is unbiased. Is it unbiased when for the same job, like say I open this Ancient Mew and say I grade it with a certain company? Are they unbiased if grading a higher number nets them more money? Like I'm not gonna name names. There are certain companies where if they deliver a higher grade to this card, they charge me more money and it takes the same amount of time. So like, again, that feels like an unforced error. Setting up financial incentives. Again, I don't think there are companies that are dumb enough to be acting on that financial incentive in trying to rake in more revenue by giving higher grades. I don't think the same way that I didn't think Probstein was shilling his items on Snipe is the same way that I think companies aren't trying to inflate their revenues. But when it's right there, it is right there. Certain grading card companies could click a couple buttons and they could double their revenue. Certain cards, again, certain cards, it's in a certain grade, it's $100 grading fee. In another certain higher grade, it's a $300 grading fee. That sounds like it sounds like triple the money for the same amount of work. Creating that incentive system is kind of bad. It's just very bad optics. Having this service, whether or not it's you or or the company that you're in bed with, GameStop. Now, I keep saying names. Let me take a drink. If you so there's one financial incentive that just it creates bad thoughts. Like people that have a brain and can think logically, thinking through the incentive system. Do I think they're acting on it? No. But like, is it there? Logically, objectively, factually, yes. There is an incentive to sued. Thanks, Kai. There is objectively an incentive system there that just doesn't look good. Do I think it's being acted on? No. Could it be? And could it increase revenue substantially? Yes, that is just a matter of fact. That is a statement of fact that like that incentive system exists. If every card in the future got a 10, got the highest grade, the company's revenue would more than double. Like, or I don't know that exactly. I don't know exactly how it works. I mean, half of cards get a 10 at that company anyways. But what would it be if 100% of them got it? Like, do I think they're gonna do that? No. But again, devil's advocate, to be fair, like I didn't think Probstein was shilling either, and I got proven wrong on that. So allegedly, it's crazy. To be honest, I do not care about the shady stuff they do or the conspiracy theories. People that boycott will just lose profit, which is better for me, less turnaround time. And one thing I kind of posed in this live stream is like, what is your line? Do you have a line? I think the line moves depending on how much money they make you, and that is so gross. That is so gross, but like it is true. And again, in the real, like this is cardboard. In the real world, it is a fact. Like I don't want to go that. I don't want to go down that avenue. It doesn't end. It doesn't end well. I've had mid 5 figures at Probstein's warehouse for over 2 months now. In the time that he's been digging around, they have decreased in value on average 28%. Yikes. Blake's Breaks, Probstein, CT scanning, stud finders, old news. All my stuff that I had left with Probstein that was intended for Snipe, I think it's all been sold now on eBay. So my relationship is almost entirely unwound. As long as they all get paid. Maybe some got shilled too high and they won't get paid and they'll have to go again. I just sent a huge consignment to DC based on the YouTube video that showed their operations. Add the interface to it. It feels like 2025 with DC versus 1927 with old Proby's business model. DC Sports website is very, very clean. I don't think I can show my dashboard because I think it will show... Let me see if it shows information about me. I don't think the package ID matters. I could, I'm going to inspect element and change these package IDs to just, how do I edit? I'm going to inspect element. I don't think it matters. Why am I not seeing this? I can't even find... Oh, there it is. I'm going to make it XXXXX. Why is it not letting me edit it? Oh, okay, I just deleted it, basically. It probably doesn't matter at all, but I just want to remove these package things in case somebody could call DC Sports and get my packages messed with. I don't want that to happen. I don't think anyone would do that, but again, sometimes I think too much of people. So anything else that I can't show here? I don't think so. Let me see. I've successfully removed my package IDs by doing inspect element on the page. But yeah, let me go here. Let me share my DC Sports 87. So big shout out to DC Sports 87. I say this cautiously. do your own due diligence. I don't know the entire history of DC Sports 87, but I don't believe they have as tainted of a name, not nearly, as some other consignment options out there. But like, here's my dashboard. I'm not gonna click into my profile. I'm not gonna click into like all that stuff because that'll probably dox me. But it tells you the wait times for premium and express and standard. And here's my amount of money that I have that I can request a payout, ACH transfer into my thing. Here's the pending payment. This is pending on eBay, must be. And I can click and I can see what items are pending payment. Scrolling over here, these are the items that I have like currently active on eBay. And then here are the packages. Here are the ones that are inbound, the ones that are received. Here's the actual current card listings. What they sell for is if you click in, you can see like all of them. If you click in here, like it's a very clean dashboard. It's very clean and nice. Let me unshare. Let me see if I can show what my consignment sheet looks like too, because I do have a live sheet. It's not as clean and as nice as DC Sports, but yeah, this is just the template, so this is safe to show. But like, if you consign with me, you get a lot. It's not fully live. It's semi-live. If you consign with me, it will show here your PayPal friends and family address, your name with your Zelle mobile number or email or whatever. And this is where your payout goes. This is where all your payouts go historically. So there are people that have been consigning with me for over a year that have like 50 things here, 50 payouts with the code for the payment that I put into the ACH, that I put into the friends and family transfer, that I put into the Zelle. And down here, you see the title of your card. You see the price that it achieved. You see the rate, the surcharge. You see line by line every item that you've sold. You see the amount of money that I owe you. So if you consign with me every Wednesday night, like right now, if you consign with me, log in. And just earlier today, I updated all the sales. I pay out on Thursday. So like Wednesday, all the sales get updated. Here's all your paid items. Here's the payout coming to you tomorrow. And also, if you have new items that came in, they will be populated here. And it will be like, hey, your PSA 10 gray felt hat is now going listing. It's going live tomorrow. So it doesn't live update every day, but it updates once a week. It updates on Wednesdays. So if you consign with me, check one time a week on late Wednesday night. Check right now, and you will see all the items that were paid, all the items that are going up tomorrow. So if you sold a car with me a year and a half ago, that still exists on your dashboard within your Google Drive folder, within your Google Drive file. And security reasons, all that stuff, you have to give me a Google email address, and you have to be logged into that Google email address to see your consignment thing, because payment information is in there to some extent. I don't keep entire ACH numbers. I don't keep entire, that stuff's all saved within my Chase, but I just keep your name and stuff. Like, some amount of personal information is in there. So it's as secure as Google Drive is. Me being logged in, you being logged in is the only way anyone can see it. Continuing on though. PSA seem to realize that they have a massive market presence but are limited in capitalization because they truly add little when it passes through their hands. Now it passes through several times. Yeah, the amount of times they're dipping into that pot. They make the grading fee. You can sell it through their vault. They make a consignment fee. You can sell it to them, sell it to GameStop, sell it to whoever. They're getting a cut of that. It goes into the PSA vault, sold digitally 100 times. Like, and Fanatics is doing similar. But again, the upcharge scenario, all these different things are it has people ask questions that are not ideal. Like, that's even a thought on people's mind is just kind of crazy. Hope there's an FBI investigation for the packs you ripped for me on your old YouTube lives, because I didn't pull anything. Oh man. Dan, Probstein and Blake's Breaks are individuals who can scam. PSA is a billion-dollar company with millions of cards each month. That's way different. There's no way they could pull that off. I mean, PSA is a conglomerate of all their employees, all their stuff. Like to say that definitively, and again, let me remove this from the screen. Let me remove any XYZ greeting card company. You cannot, nor I cannot definitively say, could there not be a grader at XYZ grading card company that goes in with a Pokemon card in their pocket and oh, hey, that guy finally submitted a Mimikyu. I know mine's an 8. Mine's kind of crappy. His is a 10. I'm gonna swap these two out. I'm gonna make a little switcheroo. Do any of us definitively know? Like, am I pretty certain that XYZ grading card company CEO is not saying like, hey guys, swap out a Moonbreon every day. Swap out a Grey Felt hat every day. Swap out a Burger Chew every day. I'm as certain as I can be, which is not 100%. I'm as certain as I can be that that's not happening. But could one random grader be doing that? Could one random tech guy at one of these companies be doing some funny business? There are people historically who have worked alongside very large institutions, very large banks, and it wasn't coming from the top down. But there was one bad actor. I listened to a fair bit of finance stuff. In the 90s or whatever, somewhere in Europe, there was some guy that was just like gambling on futures, like a bunch of the bank's money, and it ballooned to like billions of dollars. And he almost single-handedly took down a bank, which is wild. And I think there are more protections put into these companies. I think XYZ grading card companies have certain protections to cover certain things, but can they cover everything? Is there one Timmy Billy Bob grader at XYZ grading card company that has a buddy? Oh, hey, tell me your submission number. I'm going to go over to the conveyor belt and I'm going to grab yours and I'm going to give them all 10s. Like, that has to happen to some extent. Do I know of it? Have I seen it? Do I have an in with any? No, I don't have, and that's where I want my head to stay in the sand on that stuff. I can almost guarantee, though, XYZ grading card company, I don't think there's one with that acronym, but like, that probably happens somewhere, some amount of the time. And I've forever been, like, since 2014, when I got into the hobby, 2013, 2014, I think my E4 account was registered in 2014, but, so I say 2014 to be safe. I think I was lurking on E4 for a few months beforehand. But, I've never agreed with, one, the ability for XYZ grading card companies to give a consistent, reliable grade, and then two, the third-party market value that we attribute onto that XYZ 9 or 10 or whatever it may be. Like, I've always been short on plastic. I'm long on cardboard. I'm long on the hobby. I'm bullish on the hobby long-term, Pokemon, the IP, trading cards in general. But, like, I am short on plastic. And stupid stuff going on, like just went on Twitter the other day, that makes me even like shorter on plastic. I utilize it because it makes me money, but I just I don't like. Trying to think how much I want to say here. I think the hobby is larger today because of third-party graders. I think the hobby is larger today, and I think there are many businesses that engage with XYZ grading card companies to their benefit. Many businesses. I'm one of them. The average end consumer is not better off because of third-party grading. I don't think. I genuinely think it's just a vessel to extract more money from them. These grading card companies, these selling platforms, they just are net removers of money from the hobby. And to be fair, I'm a net remover of the money from the hobby. The first several years I was in the hobby, I was not net removing money. I was buying, selling, snowballing my $5,000 into a massive inventory. But these days, I'm a net remover of capital. And I utilize grading to remove capital more expediently from the hobby. Like, and I think that's the average engagement. I think that which is achieved by a third-party grader can just be achieved for so much less money. But it's turned into all this money. It's turned into all this layers of money. People way, in my opinion, overvalue the opinions of others in life in general, and especially in cardboard. I just don't care. I don't care about the card's condition that much. Like, I care. I would rather have a nice card than an ugly card. But the market likes nice cards more than I do because like the premiums on these cards are just obscene to me. With some exceptions. I'm kind of let me pump the brakes now. I said a lot of things there. Let me pump the brakes some. There are some cards that you can get for like a couple years ago, and I talked about this. I forecasted this card pretty well. I was selling PSA 10s. I was selling black labels for hundreds of dollars. I was selling PSA 10s for 100 something bucks and whatever, and they went down into the 30s. These packs were 20 something. The PSA 10s were 30. Is that reasonable? I think that's relatively reasonable. That's kind of like if a card is 5 to 25% more in PSA 10, especially when the PSA 10 rate is like 90%. I think that's reasonable. I could see valuing a card in that fashion. But like when the like what's a Burger Chew right now? A Burger Chew is like 40 bucks raw, and it's $80 in a PSA 10. That's insane. It's a 90% PSA 10 rate. It's a participation trophy. Like I'm not saying like the market is smarter than I am. Cumulatively, not smarter, but the market is more correct on what the card should be worth, right? It's all arbitrary. The intrinsic value of all of it is 0. But I think things like that are crazy, and that's very common in the hobby. We'll see what happens over the long term, but like I am short plastic and long cardboard, and that is my talk and that is my walk. The Pool Father says, let's all quit Pokemon and jump on the bandwagon of the MetaZoo. It's time. Sai, you're right. It could be happening. I cannot say with 100% confidence that that those naughty things aren't happening, that the tinfoil hatters are not correct. I wish I could, but I can't. Mr. Probstein got Dan off the fence 2025. PSA damaged their image in the same way that CGC damaged their image. CGC and CGC graded fake cards. They graded cards that were printed in 2024 on the assumption that they were printed in like 1996 or 1995 or whatever. And let me see how is CGC doing? That news dropped in January. I'm terrible with gem rate right now. I'm not finding where I find the I think the blog. Yes, yeah, so CGC. But let me pull this up now. Let me make sure I close that. So let me pull up gem rate right now. So CGC, gross incompetence. They graded cards that were printed in 2024 as if they were printed in 1995 or 6 or whatever. The prototype cards. How are they managing right now? Their grading rate is up 95% year over year. So like CGC damaged their image definitively, like objectively, their image was damaged to some extent. And what did that cause them to do? Well, PSA only went up 31% year over year in their grading percentage. CGC went up 95%. So how damaged was their image actually? You could argue that they would have gone 110% up had they not graded fake cards. It's all speculation, like we don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Maybe I'm the outlier, but I'm really not pressed about the PSA ordeal. Third-party companies offer the buyback. 9s get regraded to 10s all the time, but because it's not us doing it, someone's upset. I don't know. It is what it is. I think it was just an error. I'm not actually, like, I actually don't care that much. I actually don't care that much about what happened with the whole GameStop thing. It's just like, it's the latest, greatest drama. So that's what everyone's talking about right now. Myself included. I'm contributing to it. Yeah, I'm boycotting PSA. I'm only using CGC now. They haven't been in a scandal for over 4 months. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know if the data breach has been disclosed yet. Supposedly a data breach happened with BGS. Allegedly, I genuinely have no idea on that. None of the hackers of the BGS alleged hack have messaged me my personal information, but supposedly, allegedly, that happened too. And I think it's been 30 days since that allegedly happened. And I have an account with BGS, and I live in New York, and there's a legal requirement to protect consumers, to let them know if you have compromised their data. And yeah, as far as I know, I think the 30 days have passed, and I haven't heard anything. Presumably, I would presume in the next 2 weeks, the 30-day deadline for Snipe will have passed, and I probably won't hear anything. And like, honestly, on that one, I'm gonna make a note here. There's probably some form I can figure out. Consumer Protection Agency. I'm actually annoyed. I'm very annoyed, having had a phone call with an individual. He told me that data was exposed. Yes, I don't think he could get around that because it was posted right plainly on E4. He said payment information was not exposed. He got off on a technicality. He weaseled his way through that phone call, very corporate speak, definitely lying to me in some instances. But like, payment information was leaked. Was it actionable payment information? No. But payment information is information relating to payments, right? The guy knew the company of my credit card. He knew if it was Discover or MasterCard or Visa or American Express. He identified which company it was, and good on him, because he wasn't like, he didn't know that I was Catch 'em All Collectibles. He had no way of knowing, because my name's Gotta Catch 'em All on E4. He wouldn't provide me the last four of my credit card. He wouldn't provide me the expiration or anything, because he said that that's too sensitive. Like, Snipe lost it. I have it. I'm gonna tell you the manufacturer of your credit card, and that will be enough. Because he also told me my email and my other things anonymized too. So shout out to the hacker, because he was being more cautious and like good with my data than Snipe was. And so it's like, I was told on the phone that payment information was not leaked. Technically correct. The best kind of correct, right? That Futurama reference. But that's not the best kind of correct, because factually, objectively speaking, no. Can they actually charge my card with it? No. Can they actually debit your account with an ACH? Likely not, I don't think. But they have some people's entire routing number for their banking account. They have their entire account number. Anyone you write a check to, who writes checks in 2025, I'm clearly not going to show I'm not even going to show the back of it. I'll show the back of it. This is my checkbook. I write checks out of this almost every week. Some consigners want to be paid by check. Some people selling collections to me want to be paid by check. And everyone I write a check to gets my full account and my full routing number. I didn't know it until recently, but actually the routing number on a check is actually different than the routing number for an ACH or a wire, which is interesting. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you can do with that, but everyone I write a check to gets my account number and routing number, the check routing number apparently. But yeah, I don't know. I forget what even started that rant. Oh yeah, the whole data breach thing. Oh yeah, and I think what I'm gonna do, if 30 days passes and I don't get some kind of information, Rick, if you're out there, if 30 days pass and you haven't informed me that you lost my personal information, my email, my address that luckily was my PO box, my credit card last four, my credit card expiration, if you don't inform me through the legal means that you're supposed to, I'm gonna tell on you, Rick. I'm gonna go to the New York State or the United States Consumer Protection Agency. Like, somebody must have a form to fill out somewhere. I'm going to fill out that form. I'm gonna say Snipe leaked my data and they didn't tell me about it. And a presumably Russian hacker. I was told what blight means in Russian. Sorry if you're Russian speaking out there, and I'm using that word so casually. But I don't like that. I don't like that. And there are legal, like, there's legal obligations if you do that to someone, and if those aren't met, I'm gonna tell on you. I'm gonna tell. If Brad's in here, Brad's gonna throw around snitch and this and that, and it's like, yes, I'm going to. I am adversely affected by this, and I don't like it. to hopefully prevent future people from doing that. Hopefully some amount of recourse happens. But yeah, I mean, I would encourage everyone who doesn't like the fact that their data was leaked and was involved in the whole snipe thing. Maybe I'll make a short about it. Maybe I'll say like, hey, I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm doing this for this reasons. And hey, here's a link. If you want to do it too, do it or don't do it. I don't care. But like, if you want to, it's there. That's kind of what I would do. Anyways, continuing on. Head in the sand, so you want to view PSA the way they view our cards. Method hobbying. Yeah. Oh man. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Dan always farming drama. Shaking my head. My number one fan, Brad, always in here as I'm farming the drama. PSA graded my 1996 Dragon Ball Z card S Son Goku from a 7 to an 8 and stole like $3 from me. Oh man, another one added to the pile. If there's money to be made, people will look the other way. Absolutely. Why go with DC Sports over Z&G? Just curious, because I'm talking specifically about sealed Pokemon cards. I have my own consigning service that I do through Fanatics. Let me do a nice little plug here. But I will sell your graded cards. Most of my graded cards go here. I have good rates with Fanatics. I can offer good rates to you consigning through Fanatics. So Z&G only does slabs. I have a good setup for slabs myself. But I'm talking specifically about like sealed Pokemon. I don't want to bother with it on my own eBay. I don't want to ship consumer orders to the end consumer. So I just consign them all. I consign them all with formerly Probstein, now with DC Sports. There are I can't say where and when and how, but there are new, very familiar options coming up for sealed consignment. And I'm not talking about one. I said plural if you didn't catch it. There are multiple options. Some returning that used to be there with big companies in the space, and there are ones that are brand new coming up with big companies in the space. I have some insider info. It's not any kind of scandal, crazy kind of stuff, but like there are new consignment options coming up for sealed Pokemon. So as I said a couple weeks ago, like it's easy for me to drop Probstein. It's very easy. It costs me very, very little or nothing. Raji's always thirsty to see Dan go live. Thirsty AF. Brad is always thirsty AF for some Dan content. Oh man. Krabby's Cards is going to start up XYZ premium grading card company and sue me. Oh man, here he goes about RuneScape. This is when I talked about RuneScape. Oh crap, I'm so far behind. Another PSA scandal. Let me make some tea. Oh no, I jumped to the bottom. I'm scrolling back up. I'm trying to lose nothing. And ideally in the next 20 minutes or so, we will pivot off of this. If you have any questions, give me a stop sign. Give me all capital letters. Give me give me question, and I will answer your question about anything, ideally in the hobby, but like I answer most anything. Let's see. As Pokemon Steven said, he's not mad because PSA changed the grades, but because someone posted it on social media, which became a hot discussion, and only then PSA intervened and reversed the decision. It is wild. It is wild that like they're doing customer service through Twitter, apparently. RuneScape does it through Reddit, as I said. I only cheated once is the classic line. It was a one-off. It was a one-off. It will never happen again. Let's see. We no longer have to pre-grade, just blind send and complain. Money glitch. I just blind send. I don't really pre-grade that much. I grade really easy to grade things, and I just blind send. But I missed the complaining part. I need to complain more. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, and the grease is money. So, squeak, wheels, squeak. The end to the unregulated market has begun, folks. Investigations have opened. PSA might be cooked, frankly. I don't believe that, but like we'll see, I guess. Wow, that it was a 30 card sub and all 30 got nines. The 9 button stuck on that one. I've definitely had subs where the 10 button stuck, where the 10 pristine button stuck. I've graded my fair share of cards that I thought should have been higher, and sometimes you crack them out and you send them back. And I've graded my fair share of cards over the years with all 3 grading card companies, that got way higher than they should have. But I'm not the expert; they're the experts, so I just sell it. I sell it as is. High res scans. People can bid what they want to bid. Never a dull moment. I appreciate your videos and your integrity. The true drama is intervening to cast your opinion on what is or isn't drama. Who's harsher, PSA, Tag, CGC, or BGS? I've only graded with Tag like once for like 10 cards. I don't have a good handle on them. But PSA is generally more lax on centering, especially than CGC and BGS. Look at the gem rates with each company. Not just the gem rates, but look at the highest grade. Like, it is an objective statement of fact that like the highest grade at CGC and BGS are harder to achieve. Is it consistent? Is it a valid grade? That's a whole different conversation. But it is objectively a statement of fact that like hundreds of thousands of burger shoes have been graded. The gem rate at PSA is like 90%. Let me pull up CGC and BGS. CGC pop report. McDonald's Pikachu. I'm gonna pull up the pop report for each, and I will show you that like definitively, objectively, even though we don't know that it's 100% apples to apples. Like, and I personally, I send my stronger copies to PSA and BGS. I send my weaker copies to PSA, and I get a higher 10 rate at PSA. But I'm gonna pull up. It's gonna take me a second. I'm gonna pull up the pop report with all 3, and we will see which of the high grades is the hardest to get. Oh, this is the wrong one. This must be the English one. An error has occurred. Come on. PSA's pop report is not allowing me to search right now. I could probably find it on GemRate. So at GemRate, oh, this is looking up Pikachu Hollow. Oh man. So the gem rate at PSA is 89%. There's 146,000 PSA 10 Big Mac shoes out of 165,000 graded. And let me, I can pull this up actually. Let's see if I can find. Okay, so here we go. Let me go back here. Let me go to this. So at CGC, let's make this smaller. At CGC, there are 15,400 graded, and about half of those, a little bit under half of those, is a pristine 10, and then a further 5,700 are gem mint 10. So like the highest grade at CGC, less than half of the Big Mac shoes get them. At PSA, so this is gem rate. Let me slide this over. This is gem rate. 146,000 have been graded PSA 10 out of 164,000. That's a an 89% gem rate. So like objectively, definitively, the highest grade at CGC and BGS are harder to get. BGS, I don't know if I'm gonna find it there. I'll try quickly. The meme is that like Beckett's website is terrible. It's actually not as terrible as it used to be. Let me see if I can quickly find it or not. I probably won't be able to, but maybe I will. I'm gonna give it one shot, and we'll see if I find it. The pop is not nearly high enough. Oh, 2025. No, the pop's not high. Oh, no, this is it. No, it's not. Yes, I found it. I did find it. So here's Black Label. Here. So 2025 Pokemon card game Mega Promos Japanese. There are 130 Black Labels. I didn't mean to click on that. But yeah, there's 130 with all 410 upgrades, which is a Black Label. There's 130 Black Labels out of 5,240 graded. And there's 1,403 pristine 10s. And then that's the Gem Mint 9.5. So yeah, definitively the top grade is harder to get at CGC and BGS. But like, if you compare Gem Mint to Gem Mint, it depends on the type of damage. It depends on the era. It depends on the card, all that stuff. Which cards do you send to the CGC instead of PSA? Is it based on the raw value of the cards? I send a little bit. I send a little bit of everything. Again, I have advantageous rates. So CGC bulk just went to $15 a card. If you want to reach out, I don't advertise this publicly very often, but I have the ability to grade through CGC. It has to be auctioned on Fanatics. So it's auctioned at the following rates. One exemption. Sub 120, if you send me raw cards to consign through CGC Fanatics, they get graded with CGC for $8.50 a card. And instead of $15 a card, it takes about 1 month for them to be graded. And then they're sold at these rates. They're sold at these rates, which are better than the public Fanatics rates. So removing the $5 surcharge for sub 120. So that's an option. And because I have access to that option, I'm sending most of my cards there. Will some cards overall like do better at PSA? Probably. But then I have to deal with PSA. I have to wait way longer. I have to pay way more money. I pay less money. I get them back quicker. The Pristines get more money than the Gem Mint 10s, even though I get significantly less. The EV is probably slightly negative compared to dealing with PSA and eBay. But again, I have more certainty in the time frames. I have a lot less cost basis into it, a lot less risk in that fashion. So I do 95 probably percent of my grading. 90+% of my grading is with CGC Fanatics. When's the next palette update video? Probably May. May will be its birthday again. So probably just on its birthday. CGC announced a price increase in January. Since bulk will be 15, will your Fanatics CGC rate increase even more than the $8.50 per card you currently pay? As of right now, it is going to be $8.50 a card. I don't know. I'll have to talk to my rep. Next time I talk to my rep, I'll ask about that. I hope we'll be shielded from that, but I genuinely don't know. It could go up again. I will try to not have it do that, but I don't know. The entire hobby's based on smoke and mirrors. I see red line, I click. Chat's wilding a little bit. Just joining in now. I've been wondering if you have given an update on your McDonald's Pikachu play. I remember saying you dropped like 50K on them a few months ago. No, sadly I did not put 50K on them. I bought 400. I bought 400, which at the time was like $8,000 or $9,000. They were 20 or a little over 20. I can't even find one. Where do I have them? Oh, I have them over here. I bought 400 of these. I have 100 set back. I graded like 300 of them, and they're pretty much all gone by now. I might have a couple stragglers at CGC Fanatics, but I bought them all around 20. I paid the equivalent of my service, $750 grading, and then I sold. Most of the Pristines went for 100 something, and a lot of the gems went for like in the 50s, 60s. Like I definitely like doubled or tripled my money, and then I have 100 sealed ones still set back. Wow, we finally know the line that dance morals go out the window. I thought it would be way higher than $1 million. I was talking about $1 million a year. $1 million a year. Dan, the trolley problem is a common hypothetical thought experiment in research ethics. I'm very familiar with the trolley problem. I'm limited in characters here, but what would you do in the various trolley problem scenarios? I don't know if you specify further, but like the trolley problem is there's a trolley coming and there's like you can divert the trolley. There's two paths that it can take, and it's like what one side is a newborn baby and one side is like 100-and-something-year-old person on their deathbed. It's like most people are going to divert towards like preserving the youth, the Titanic, the women and the children go first. Generally speaking, like I'm in line with that. Like if I were ever in a scenario like that and a lifeboat could only fit and me and my family around, like my wife and my kids are going on that boat and I'm going down with the ship. But like I think it's interesting. It's interesting to like talk and think about all those things, but you truly don't know what you would do in many of the scenarios. Some of them are easier, some of them are a lot harder, but I don't know if in the chat you give like an actual scenario here. I don't know if you tie it into the hobby. I don't know if you're going to do like a trolley scenario hobby related, but I don't see any here, I don't think. I'll look at live chat. Timmy McGee, let me know what you're asking about specifically. Wait until James and Fnatic start. Sealed Probius cooked. There will be big companies getting deeper into sealed, and I think it will be very interesting. And two things I'm doing right now. I'm not sending the Probstein. I'm sending a bunch to DC Sports, and I'm also piling. I've got the pallets that I do with my dad, and we're adding new pallets, and we'll talk about them in May, how many pallets there are and how they're doing. But I'm also like staging a couple pallets of stuff to send off to these new services when they open. I'm gonna hit them with a lot at the start. Some of it, it's like, oh crap, I should have sold that 2 weeks ago through DC. Some of it's kind of drifting down, but I think some of that will like start to tick back up at some point. I don't know. Do you think we will get some good ZNG Emporium drama in 2026? Sick of that dude getting filthy rich with his good business practices. Again, I will never 100% vouch for anyone that is not myself, ever, as sad as it is. But like, I hold James in very high regard. I do not remotely think that that any bad news will come out of there. I really hope nothing will. I've consigned with him before. I've trusted him with a lot of stuff, and I would continue to, like, if and when the whole Fanatics thing went away. Like, I don't really consign with him much actively today, but it's not a him thing. It's a me thing. It's a me thing because I have other relationships to utilize there. I've said this before, like in Discord and stuff, and I probably said it on a live stream. But competition is great. I love that all these services exist. I was looking at like the Wayback Machine. I was looking at like Probstein rates. I was looking at different rates across the hobby, consigning options, and like 5-10 years ago, you could not consign. One, there was cases were not $1,000 of every set. Right now, booster cases of every set are $1,000 plus, and you can consign them for 96% with DC Sports, and you can consign them for 95% with Probstein, and you can sign them for 95% with like a few other people. 95% payout above $1,000. That's crazy. The liquidity, the high net payout. I love that exists. Someday I will not be as active in the hobby as I am. I will go from working 50 hours a week down to like, someday I'll work 25 hours a week. Someday I'll work 10 hours a week, probably, in this space. And the thought of like, I could just pull the plug on everything. I could go dark on YouTube, go dark on socials, and I could just play in the background, and I could consign for 95% slabs here, sealed here. I could just run from a laptop connection, basically. I could just run some 7-figure annual sales empire without a name, without a face, without anything, just utilizing the other businesses in the space. That's insane. The opportunity in this space right now is crazy for businesses and like everyone alike. These companies, these people have like built their reputation, built their standing. I've built my standing with Fanatics to get these rates, and I'm able to pass them along to people that are better than they can get themselves. Saves you the years of building that relationship, and you just jump to the front of the line with not the absolute best rates. Probstein makes money. ZNG makes money. I make money when you consign through me. But like, they make money while delivering to you a fee that's way lower than you could get yourself directly. So it's a win-win. I love that these things exist. It's crazy. Question: any must ask questions for a small business accountant lawyer when setting up? Any answers that should make me run the other direction? Ask about how to account for your inventory. Ask about if you can be cash basis and if you can expense your inventory as you buy it in the year that you buy it. Ask them, like, say, hey, I operate between January and November. Say I make $100,000 net profit between January and November. Can I, in December, spend $100,000 to spend to zero? Can I make it so my net income is zero so that my tax burden is zero? If they say no, run. They are wrong. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. Go watch Not Your Dad's CPA. There's nuance. There's like that you need to do certain things to qualify, whatever. But like, run. Ask them what are the benefits of being a sole proprietor versus an LLC versus an S corp. If they don't know what an S corp is, that if they don't know that you can save money on the FICA taxes, the margin between your reasonable income, your reasonable salary, and your the FICA limit. Like, if they don't know that's a thing, run, because someday that might be relevant to you. And the fact that they don't know about it, like, they'll never tell you when it's ready for you to take that leap. I had an accountant that did not tell me about that, and I only found out about it when I looked into it myself and when I got a new accountant. Truth is an ultimate defense to slander. And Gumbrave, I believe, is an attorney, so there we go. When are the grading esports coming? 112 watching and only 10 people chatting. Damn pays for bots. Prove me wrong. Everyone, prove Benji wrong. Give me all the lurkers out there. Drop a fire emoji in chat so that Benji can know that I'm not paying for bots. If I was paying for bots, I mean, I should bot higher than 121. I should bot higher than a measly 121, right? DC Sports might have started in 1987. DC Sports 87. It could be the number, the jersey number of like the owner's favorite athlete or something. I don't know. Gretzky was 89, right? Or 99? I don't know what big athletes. What big athletes wear jersey number 87? I think Kelsey wears 87, doesn't he? Kelsey's the first one that Google says. Rob Gronkowski, Dwight Clark, Luther Burden III, Sam Laporta. Yeah, 87 is like a tight end number, right? It gave me only football players. It didn't give me other sports for whatever reason. Look at all those fire emojis. We got some lurkers coming out here. DC's good till they list your like cards and lots and shaft you for a few G's, a few grand. Yikes. That's not good. Yeah, PSA is the only company that buys. They say that they're not buying their own cards back. It's GameStop that's buying their own card back. It's the CEO is on the board with GameStop, and it's like it's not the same company, but things get dicey. Things get dicey with some of that. I don't know. You're talking about the story from the Swindled podcast with that rogue banker. Yeah, I sometimes I go down the YouTube rabbit hole and I don't even pay attention to what channel I'm listening to. It very well could have been that. I work at PSA, can confirm there's at least one Timmy McGee there. What's the story about Europe and the options and the bank? I'll find the name quick. European banker gambled away money options. I will get you a name. Nick Leeson, Barings Bank collapse in 1995. I believe that's the one that I. So he bypassed controls, invented deals, took excessive risks with complex derivatives. Yeah, Nick Leeson, Barings Bank. Oh, Singapore apparently. Maybe this is the one. Maybe it's not. A derivatives trader in Singapore hid huge losses from unauthorized speculative trades, ultimately bankrupting. Oh, the UK's oldest merchant bank, Barings Bank. So yeah, Nick Leeson and Barings Bank. But apparently the guy was in Singapore. I don't know. Um, I'm pretty yeah, 827 million pounds, which I believe is over $1 billion. Crazy. Um, did you watch Brian's video about FedEx delivering $30,000 and sealed to the wrong house and he's just out the product? I don't understand how they can just not cover a dime of it. It is pretty wild. Like, it is shipping companies have an interesting setup where you need to pay to ensure that they do your job. I think I did hear part of this. Like if you go get an oil change at the mechanic and they forget to put the oil in and they blow up your car, I would hope that mechanic, that dealer, that whatever, that they would put a new engine in your vehicle, right? They need to return the vehicle to the condition that it's in. If you had to go get an oil change and pay a $5 insurance fee, oh, hey, you didn't pay the blow up your engine insurance fee. So here's your car with a blown up engine. Do you want us to call you an Uber? Do you want us to call you a tow truck? Sorry, like it is pretty wild. You go to the dentist and you pay to get a filling done. Oh, we accidentally we drilled into 6 of the wrong teeth first, and now we need to fill them with cavities, fill them with fillings. Sorry, fill them with fillings, and you're gonna pay for all those. You didn't pay for drilling into the wrong tooth insurance, so you're paying to have your cavity properly drilled out and filled, and then the 6 teeth that we accidentally drilled into and filled, you're paying for all those too, the full amount, because you didn't buy the insurance. Like, that's probably like the worst analogy I could have possibly come up with, but that's where we went. And it's wild. It's wild that that's a thing, but like, that's just what it is. It sucks. I've definitely in my years, in my many sales, I've had some stuff show is delivered and not be delivered, and they open a case and this and that and the other thing, and it's like I've definitely lost some money over the years to shippers. Kind of is what it is. So I'm in Scott's Patreon, SM Pratt's Patreon. He said he removed the BGS data because the hacker reached out and like basically said like they were not happy. I think they were like DDoSing E4 to get them to remove it, and they like threatened things, and it's like that was wild, a wild story. Yeah, I don't know. That's seems like a nice guy, probably along with not nice people. A nice guy who was like disclosing it, got a hold of the snipe information and told me like, hey, you're probably this person, but I don't know if you're this person, so I'm not going to tell you the last 4 of their credit card. I'm going to tell you the manufacturer of their credit card, or not the manufacturer, but like the whatever you would call it, the company of the credit card. Can't wait for the people versus Proby. Probably never coming, but like maybe it does someday. Who knows? I'm gonna tattle. I'm gonna snitch. I'm 100% gonna snitch. The FTC. There we go. I'm going to, once 30 days passes, I'm going to Consumer Protection Agency, FTC, IC3. I'm gonna report it. I'm not gonna spend like 3 hours on the phone reporting it, but presumably there will be like some web forms that I can fill out. I'm gonna like low hanging fruit. I'm gonna report it to very easy methods to report it. I'm not gonna make it my life's goal to like ruin Probstein or anything. But like I'm not gonna consign with them anymore. I'm not gonna buy from him on eBay anymore. And I'm gonna tell on him if he doesn't do the right thing. So that's gonna be the extent of it. Question: how am I doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing like life is pretty good overall. I don't have much to complain about in the grand scheme of things, honestly. We sometimes like that's a good question to ask from time to time. People should ask themselves, like, and some people are dealing with like massive medical things or relationship things or whatever it may be. Like I generally don't have much to complain about in real life. Sometimes things go on in the hobby, and sometimes it takes up a lot of our time and our mental bandwidth, and it really weighs on people a lot. But overall, like I don't really have too much to complain about. There's Brad. I'm gonna tell on him. Always knew Dan was a snitch. Yes, if you commit a crime against me, I will report a crime being committed against me. Is that what a snitch is? So a snitch. What kind of individual would say that? Brad G Cards in 2025 said, "I'm a snitch because I." And this is in the hypothetical world where it's not reported in its timeline. I mean, usually it's like listen to the victims, believe the victims, all that stuff. And then Brad is out here. Hey, if you're a victim and you tell on the perpetrator, you're a snitch. Brad G 2025. Yikes! Big yikes to that one, Brad. Let's see what Brad has to say. Let's see if he stands by. Victims are snitches. Is what I'm distilling what Brad is saying down into a more concise message. That's pretty wild, Brad. That's pretty wild. That to say victims are snitches if they tell on the perpetrators of the crime. Oh man. Yikes. You should have a lot of clips coming from this stream, Brad. This guy's going down. I think that clip there is gonna take Brad down. Honestly, it's about time Brad gets canceled. I'm not calling for people to boycott him, to cancel him, but like those were his words. Those were his words. Calling a victim of a crime, telling on the perpetrator, calling that a snitch. That's wild if you ask me. Scrolling back up, let's see. There's some questions that came in here. Have you talked about the potential sealed on fanatics, or is that still hush hush? Sealed on fanatics, shouted in caps lock. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's also not like 100% lock. It's not 100% lock. Okay, Brad's doubling down. He stands by his statements. He stands by his statements that victims are snitches. Wild times. Wild times. We've come full circle since 2020. Vintage goes up, then comes down. Then modern spikes up, now coming down. Now vintage is up again. Any predictions for the market in 2026? Some up, some down, some flat. You're welcome. Tax season coming around. How often are you noticing things that go missing or are stolen? And when are you adding them as losses to the business? Very infrequently. Like I don't have an LGS. I've never had anyone break into any of my places where things are stored. So like I've never reported a loss through those means. Theoretically you could though. Theoretically you could, like there is a line. There's a line specifically on returns, refunds, allowances, and then I think there's a different line for like actual losses due to theft or natural disaster or whatever. So say you have an inventory and say it's all in your basement and your basement gets flooded. You can't like get all the money, the full market value for your goods. And I've never done this, so I don't know exactly how it works. But I think you can write off those goods as a loss, and you can reclaim a little bit of something. But like when people say, it hurts me deeply when people say like, oh, they're making money because it's a tax write-off. That's not how tax write-offs work. Tax write-offs aren't just like profitable inherently. Like if you lose a bunch of money, you spend a bunch of money on a tax write-off, you get some percentage of that back, what you would have paid in taxes functionally. But yeah, that's a whole different conversation. Dan, have you changed up what is going on your and your dad's Pokemon investment pallets since the market has stabilized a bit? Not a whole lot has been adding to the pallets. So pallet 1 was born when everything was sub $100. All the SV1 through SV 3 or 4 at the time, whatever the most current set was at the time, all of it was sub 100. So pallet 1 was born because everything was cheap. Now everything's expensive. Pallets are born less quickly when things are expensive. So that's part of why a pallet video won't come till May. Not much is going on. I'm not adding significantly. I'm adding 4 cases of every set as they come out. But not much is going on. Some loose packs. I've added some loose packs of 151. I added some loose packs of 151 at 8 and 9 and 10, and now they're 15 or whatever. So like that was a good setup at the time. I'm gonna jump down to the super chat. We're pay to play here. If you super chat, if you throw some dollars with your question, you will get jumped to the front of the line. Signed up to sell with Snipe about an hour before site went down. Have to assume my info was exposed, but do you know a way I can find out for a fact? I would say, like, as confidently as I can, that your data was exposed. You could reach out to the OP of that E4 thread, Blyatzard. Go DM Blyatzard and just say, like, hey, I signed up very late in the game. As far as I know, though, when that splash screen was there, and out of curiosity, morbid curiosity, if you go to snipe.com right now, don't tell me they say they're coming back soon. Oh, God. I have to share this quickly. If you go to snipe.com right now on December 10th, 2025. Hey guys, so I got some hot news right now. So let's see. Snipe, this new website. We're experiencing a system-wide technical issue due to high volume that affected all auctions on the platform. To protect the integrity of bidding and ensure a fair experience for every buyer and seller, we are temporarily taking Snipe offline. All impacted auctions will be canceled and relisted with full visibility once the issue is resolved. Thank you for your patience. We'll be back shortly. This is snipe.com. I'm not a big tech guy. Hopefully, this is because of my cookies. Hopefully, this is because I haven't refreshed something. I'm going to unshare this right now. I'm going to unshare this. I'm going to open up an incognito browser in a different browser. And I'm going to go to snipe.com. And I'm going to pray that I only saw that screen because of cookies or because of something like that I don't understand. Snipe.com, incognito browser. It's taking a second to load. Thank you for your patience. We'll be back shortly. Incognito browser, a different browser I've never been on Snipe on. Yikes. I don't know how cookies work. I don't know if cookies could do that, but like that's where my brain went initially, hoping it would be the case. But yeah, so the reason that I did that little excursion into a browser was while that splash screen was there, again, I'm not a tech guy, while this splash screen was present, you could right click and you could inspect element and you could dive into databases for hours while that splash screen was up. So presumably, like, till the last minute, like if someone could take information till the last minute, presumably they were taking information. So like 99.999% chance your data is exposed. If you want to make it 100%, DM Blizzard. It's unfortunate, it sucks, but yeah, whatever you signed up with, that information is likely all out there. I don't know how to navigate the dark web. Go into the dark web, go try and find, like, it's probably all being sold on the dark web. It's probably all been sold multiple times on the dark web. With more interest from the public and private sectors in the collectible space, do you think there's going to be additional regulations coming? TCG is the new asset class like Bitcoin and altcoins. I don't know. Probably not. It's relatively small to like the real markets overall. Some of the crypto things just they instantly balloon to billions of dollars. Go to CoinMarketCap, look up the latest crap coins, and billions of dollars. It's crazy. Do you think Radar will make podcast episode 5? Yes. I think, so shout out to the Off-Centered podcast this Friday. I think, well, this Friday will be, is it episode 4 this Friday? So episode 5 would be next Friday, which is like, that's going to be tough around the holidays. That's the day after Christmas. So I don't know what their filming schedule is. Or no, next Friday is the 19th. Next Friday is the 19th. So 2 Fridays. I think it would be episode 6 would be the day after Christmas. I think I love you, John. I love you, Radar. I think he will make it to 10 episodes. I'm giving him a lot of credit there. I think he'll make it to 10 episodes. I don't know if he'll make it to 11. That's my over-under. I'm setting it to 10 and a half, and I'm barely taking the under. We'll see what happens though. I've been enjoying the first few episodes. But one thing I'll do, I'm not a big spoiler guy. They've devoted a lot of their podcast. I think it's smart because like most people, I think like to engage with spoilers. So if you're running a podcast and you want it to do well, you should probably engage with spoilers. But like I've had to skip a bunch of it. Like Off-Centered Podcast, if you're listening, throw in a timestamp. Throw in a timestamp for the people covering their eyes and closing their ears, not wanting to be spoiled. But other than that, I've enjoyed the podcast quite a bit. If you haven't already spoken about it, what do you think about One Piece? Some Pokemon vendors and even sports guys getting in bubble. I think it's a little bit bubbly. It's a little bit frothy, probably. I participate a little bit. I get an allocation of One Piece from my distro. It is not brick and mortar exclusive. It is online vendor approved, and I've been getting it since OP05. I've gotten an allocation since OP04 or OP05. I just consign it. I just chuck it over to DC Sports. My last case, OP13, I bought it from distro. I think my distro price is like sub 70 a box. I paid like $800 for a case of 12, $800 for a case of 12, and it consigned sold, and I net 96% of like $3,700. I made like $3,000 on one case of OP13. I got 8 cases. And I made $3,000 net profit on one of them. I am selling all of them, every single one. I don't care. I don't know. I don't want to participate. Yes, please give me the $24,000 net profit. Net profit. Like after buying the product from wholesale, after consigning, paying the consigning fees, I've just one release of one TCG, One Piece TCG that I don't know anything. Like that is insane. That does not feel like real life. That's kind of scary, kind of crazy. Will it be worth $30,000 one day, that case? I would lean towards no. Will that be the highest that case is ever worth? It could be. One Piece could be dead in a couple years. I don't know anything about it. But it's good that they've made it 13 sets, but like making it 13 sets doesn't mean they're going to make it to 50 or 100 or whatever. Like I truly don't know at all. That it feels crazy. It feels scary, and it's an easy sell all. Why don't you use CGA, Card Grading Australia, 0 scandals? The fact that you had to tell me what the acronym meant is why I don't use them. Sorry, Kai. Noticing a lack of financial advice on this stream, unfortunately. Ask your questions in chat. I will answer every question. So ask ask away and I will answer. Did you get your ascended allocations? I think I got a little bit. I'm so not excited for Ascended Heroes because there's like 2 SKUs coming out when it launches. And I'm getting, so yeah, launch wave. What are the 2 products that are coming out? There's like 2 products coming out. I'm probably going to get like 1,000 packs. PK and Ponga are going to have to like ration their packs. I've heard Alex Nostalgianomics say that he thinks the packs will be like $20 a pack on live streams. They might be. If I only have 1,000, we like Destined Rivals launch weekend. I forget the number. Let me double check so I don't say the wrong number. Launch weekend of Destined Rivals. Come on, load. Launch weekend of Destined Rivals. This spreadsheet is way too massive. It needs to be January 1st so I can copy paste this over and start a new year. This spreadsheet is falling apart. But launch weekend of Destined Rivals, we sold like 6,000 packs. Launch weekend of Journey, we sold 1,500 packs. Black Bolt, we sold over 1,000 packs. White Flare, over 1,000 packs. So I might only be getting like 1,000 packs overall for Ascended Heroes launch wave. Maybe not even. I don't even know if it'll be that many. That's gonna be dark if people want to rip it a lot. But maybe it'll be $20 a pack, so demand will be slowed a lot because of that. I actually don't know, but my allocations are pretty low, given that like the only SKUs coming out have like 2 packs and 3 packs or whatever. DC Sports does sealed. I don't know if they do sealed everything, but they definitely do sealed cases because I've already sold some with them. We're chatting about a little bit of everything. It is a choose your own adventure. Ask your questions in chat and I will answer. Appreciate Benji giving the overview. Finished the PSA drama Probstein and are moving into somewhat tax talk, cutting in and out of the drama again. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them in chat. Once I get to the end, I will end chat. I will end the live stream, but I will answer all questions between now and then. What's your view on the PSA stuff? I think they made a boo-boo. I don't think it was malice. I think it was incompetence. That is a very quick summary of what I said earlier. People mix up tax write-offs and tax credits incentives frequently to a painful degree. Absolutely. Hey, if you're at a convention and someone next to you is trying to sell something from a vendor, but you can offer a better deal, what's the proper etiquette to take here? So okay. So if you're at a convention and there's someone trying to buy, like let's make it something. Let's make it a gray felt hat PSA 10. If the vendor next to you has a gray felt hat PSA 10 and the vendor has it priced for 2,000 or something, I don't even know what they go for. They probably go for like $1,500 right now. And then the buyer wants to pay $1,500. Hey, look at alt. Hey, look at Car Ladder. It's $1,500. I offer that. No, 2,000 it is. Like, no deal. Once the transaction's like done, like in my opinion at least, and people will have different opinions on this probably, you should not butt in mid conversation, mid negotiation, and say like, "Oh, hey, I've actually got this at a better deal." Like that is not cool in my opinion. And same thing too. Like if you're a vendor or not a vendor, say you're just walking behind the consumer at the booth, and you're not a vendor, but like you have the card in your backpack and you brought it with you, and you'd take $1,400. It is weird and it is bad and it is wrong in my opinion to cut in on a deal that like you're not a party to. Now, if someone's just lying, if someone says like a PSA 10 is a perfect card in every way, and this one is like super duper extra perfect, and it's better than a black label, and I guarantee it will be $5,000 next year. Like if they're just snake oil salesmen, scamming, lying, being really grimy, like step in, be grimy back, like help out the consumer that's trying to get like the person is trying to shaft them. So nuance. I think generally speaking, it is not a scam to ask for more than someone wants to pay on a card. It is not a scam to ask for more than someone paid last comp on a card. So like if the transaction closes and they do the deal at higher than you could have done, that's just what it is. That's my opinion at least. Some people would say, "Oh no, like go save the consumer." I'm not of that opinion. Adults can be adults and make adult decisions. Again, if it's a kid and like, "Oh hey, this card is super duper rare and it's like a $50 card that they're trying to sell to a kid for $200." Different scenario. Step in like, "Hey, don't scam this kid. Like, hey, I got it over here. Like, have it for free. Take it for $40." So there's nuance. When are you showing the numbers of opening 10,000 Secret Shadow packs? Very frustrating. The pallet only landed to Skya yesterday. I will probably get the data from him in a week or so, and then number one priority is getting everything listed on eBay. But I'll probably make the video before the end of the year. But like, it's frustrating how late I've been getting the product. I don't want to call out the distributor by name, but yeah, I ordered an entire pallet, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I think it came directly from the printer. I think instead of it going from the printer to the distributor to Skya who were receiving the pallet and doing the 10,000 pack reps and stuff, it I think it went direct, but like balls were dropped along the way. Like communication was not on point. It was slower than ideal, and it was just like we're super late getting to eBay now, which sucks. It is what it is, and like I'll make the video when I have time to make the video. When I don't have the data though. 10,000 packs have not been opened yet, so I'm not sure when, but hopefully sometime pretty soon. And I think I had so the release date for Secret Shadows was I think it was a Monday. I want to say it was Monday. I need to look at the calendar now because I can't remember. I want to say the release date was, so New Jersey was November 21st, 22nd. Friday, November 20th is when, no, I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. I received my 10 cases of Secret Shadows at my location on like November 18th. And I opened a couple cases just to see if I got a box. I didn't get a box, chase box. And I opened a couple boxes with the family. And Ponga actually came over to go with me to New Jersey. We opened a box pre-New Jersey. And then that Friday, that Saturday, the 21st, they did like a release event at New Jersey Collecticon. And then November the 23rd, I believe, the Monday, November 23rd, I believe was like the formal release date. So I had Secret Shadows a few days before release, and I didn't get the pallet though to Skya until yesterday, December 9th. So like, is that a full 2 weeks? A full 2 weeks, almost a full 2 weeks after I got my 10 cases. That was very frustrating. Like the 50 cases, a pallet, 600 boxes I ordered to Skya, and they came 2 weeks late. And it's like, you know how singles are for any TCG, especially one that's a lot like lower volume, lower everything, that like MetaZoo. I don't know if anyone has singles of Secret Shadows up on eBay. Maybe we'll be the first ones up there still. But yeah, it sucks missing those 2 weeks. 3K, damn, that's like 600 IPAs. Yeah. Would you consider this a true hoot and holler? Yes. With that though, I think I made it to the bottom of chat in under 2 hours. People were here for the drama. Once I stopped talking about the drama, people took off. If anyone has any last second question, feel free to drop them in chat. I will take it. But yeah, with that, I think I'm gonna wrap up pretty quick. Let me I do have like a notes. I have a notes section that I put some things in. I entirely forgot to talk about what I put in my notes because of the whole drama, all that stuff. One of the notes is PSA debacle. I talked about the PSA debacle. So one of the notes, shout out to the affiliate link below for the Fanatics live streams. I'll do this at the end. I'm going to do this in a way that I can clip it too. So I'm going to do it in a way so I can clip it and I can post it on Instagram and YouTube Shorts and TikTok and stuff. When does the 12 days of Christmas start? Should start 12 days before Christmas, right? So starting Saturday. Ready? Here's going to be my little thing. So every day in December, we've been giving away an art set, starting with Fusion Strike, ending with Phantasmal Flames. We're giving away an art set of booster packs every day on Fanatics Live. Check the link in the description below. $25 code to when you sign up and spend $25, you get $25 for free. Go in and try to win a giveaway of one of the art sets of booster packs. Further, starting Saturday, we're going to do our version of the 12 Days of Christmas. Every day, we will be dropping something at MSRP. It might be a Journey Together booster box. It might be a Phantasmal Flames ETB. It might be a Prismatic Evolutions ETB. But every day we will be dropping something for MSRP. Maybe it'll be a Mega Evolutions 9-pack lot for whatever MSRP would be of that, $40 or so. But every day we will have some kind of different giving back type thing to the community, to the live stream following, because we do appreciate it. We do appreciate it very much. So we're giving away 25 different art sets leading up to Christmas. We're giving away the 12 Days of Christmas, 12 different drops of MSRP. Some of them might be a one-off, might be one quantity. You got to be in there. You got to be ready to click that buy it now, right in time when it happens. Some of them will be a little bit deeper quantity. Maybe we'll do 2 or 3 or 4. Or maybe we'll do 6 or 8 or 10 booster bundles of a different set. But yeah, there will be some things to check out over on Fanatics. Go tap in there through the link below if you haven't yet. I got offered a job as a rip and shipper. What is a good rate to charge? I know what my guys make. My guys are doing very well. My guys are in the upper echelon. I think my guys are in the 90th percentile plus of wages as a rip and shipper. But a good rate to charge is one that you're happy to receive. How much can you make otherwise? What is your going rate for your labor otherwise? How much do you need to get by? Some combination of all those things. How much can the person that's hiring you afford to pay? That's an aspect of it. So there's a lot of different things that go into that. But if 2 adults agree to a certain number, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. If GameStop starts selling 50K power packs, do you think it will get Pokemon's attention and they will release a collector style box that's 500 to 1,000? I don't know. I think on a long enough timeline, I think it's inevitable. Do I think though that, like, I think the buyer of a 50K power pack is not someone who's gonna buy like the direct core product of Pokemon that frequently. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there will be a lot of overlap, but eventually Pokemon will have their version of serialized cards, their version of a collector type booster. I think that's inevitable on a long enough time frame. I'm not heading to LA Collecticon. It is far away. It is far away from me. And I'm done with the year. Done for the year with travel. I think my chat, did this chat freeze? Oh, here we go. Are you dropping Terrestrial Festival at MSRP to say it's been at MSRP? We're gonna drop some Prismatic at MSRP. That's a good catch. I am not using that to say, well, technically it was widely available because we dropped it for MSRP. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just genuinely trying to, like, get in the holiday spirit, engage in some giveaways, all that stuff. We don't build on giveaways. We don't see giveaways as like a core foundational part of our streams. But I do like to give back from time to time. I do. Tis the season, right? I do want to actually give away the art sets, give away some MSRP product. Am I going to save and fix the entire hobby through my my giveaways? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. Will I show some appreciation for the people that follow, simultaneously maybe growing or following a little bit more? Probably. Like that's the end goal at the end of it. Buy my stuff at full price so I can call it giving back to the community. Yeah. I took it as a joke. I took it as such, but no, that's funny. That's funny. If I were to sell like 30 Prismatic ETBs at MSRP and then try to claim that I won the bet, that Prismatic went to MSRP, that would be a funny angle. That I'm not trying to weasel out of it that way. I'm not going to do it with Destined either. Hey, Retro, I won the bet with you because I sold 6 boxes of Destined Rivals for $160 a piece. Not going to happen. Pokemon wants some piece of the pie, but they also want to Helga G cards. That's hilarious. Pokemon wants some piece of the pie, but they are smart about the long term too. Yeah, shout out to Brad G. I mean Helga G cards. With that though, it is 11:30. I'm going to end the stream there. Can you just ship Retro his prize already? I will gladly ship him. Well, I'll send him the money to source a new one from Japan. Probably is how it'll happen. But I will buy Retro a Team Rocket briefcase. I will buy Giovanni a Team Rocket briefcase if and when I lose. But I will not yield on that bet until June-ish of 2027. That'll be 2 years-ish. That'll be about when Destined Rivals falls out of rotation. But yeah, with that, I hope in two weeks, I hope we can have a more cheery open. I hope the rant doesn't need to be so negative. I hope we don't need to talk about scummy, scammy things that go on in the hobby. I hope we can talk about yeah, just better things in general. 2 weeks actually is Christmas Eve. I'll probably do it in like less than 2 weeks. I'll probably do it on Monday or Tuesday that week. But yeah, as always, I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all